All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Tellor Dev Call Tuesday, May 27th. Brenda's up in Prague. If you guys are up in Prague or going to any of the European events over the next month, definitely let her know that. But yeah, we'll be posting those videos as they arrive. But should be fun. I'm excited for all the videos. I love watching all the videos from all these events. Um, but yeah, let's get into it. Exciting week for Tellor coming up. So, Spuddy, how's things going?
Going great. I'm catching up on a bunch of piled up stuff. I I made a snapshot script that's pretty cool now, so it will reset the storage. Like if you're running a validator and you need to reset the storage without getting jailed, you can just do that automatically. It's just waiting for it to like finish testing is really hard because it's the snapshot sync takes a long time. I'm doing it right now. Uh, I got to do some ops stuff. Yeah,
Very nice. And I saw you put in the no stake reporting in the docs, or is that what
yeah.
you
I
did?
did an example no stake report. I made a no stake report last week. It was pretty cool. And when I made it, it was like it kind of it. I could see now how it kind of lets people just do things because you can just pay a small gas fee and report. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. So for those of you guys listening, you're like, why the hell would you have a no stake report on Teller? We haven't necessarily explained it, but there was the way that Teller security works is like you have people who have stake and you lock it up and you say like if the Bitcoin price is X and you're willing to lose it. Um, if all of the reporters do that, there's a whole lot of money locked up. So like two-thirds of our validators said that's what we call consensus values, kind of like how Cosmos finalizes. We all agree that this is the price and we move forward. And those are very, very secure. But if you just put like one TRB up and write a report, you were technically still allowed to submit reports. And a lot of times this is how people were doing it. But what's the security on that? You can be disputed, and technically you would lose $40. But it was very, very minimal, right? There wasn't necessarily any large amount of crypto economic security in it. It was more just a transparent way to put data on chain and verify for everybody, almost like, similar to like a data availability layer. You're posting the data, everybody can see it, everybody can agree that it's there. Um, and whenever you're making some applications, though, a lot of times getting that one TRB is really annoying. Like, so, like it's just like you have like if you think about like a front end or a game, let's say you were going to do like a blockchain gaming type thing. If you required everybody to go to Coinbase, buy a TRB, and then bridge it over to Layer in order to play your game, nobody would probably ever play your game. Whereas if you could just come and start throwing stuff on chain, that's cool. So we implemented a way to submit even with no stake, um, just for certain use cases that need that, making us a little bit more flexible. So anyway, if you're talking about that, that's what that is. All right, continuing down the line. Caleb, how's things?
Good. I got a event listener going on that's connecting to an RPC and sending Discord alerts for a bunch of different situations that we want to be alerted for. And then also just trying to drill down on the Grafana page. We're having some weird data that doesn't really make sense and doesn't track when manually testing things. So figuring that out so that we can have like the best overview of the chain as it goes.
Nice. All right, and then I saw somebody made the issue right for the pagination. We had some issues. Who's working on that? I guess would that be
I'm working on the
okay.
pagination.
Cool. Yeah, well, I guess we can just move on then. Dan, how's things?
Yeah, good. Yeah, I'm just adding some extra tests right now for the pagination pagination stuff, um, because I need some extra querying for a profitability tracker.
All right. Ryan?
Um, got a big old foot in my mouth from this bridge page. Tim put together a really nice, cohesive guide for me and cursor to digest, and that essentially um, kind of had to rewrite a bunch of stuff and kind of spent the weekend getting back to where I was at the end of the weekend. Um, but learning a lot, especially about code organization. And I think I'm trying to handle a lot on one app.js file. So, um,
Yeah, React's
kinda-
tricky.
what's that?
This is React, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a nightmare to begin with. So,
Uh, but yeah, so I'm gonna power through this, lick my wounds. I've learned a lot. I'm gonna try to clean up the code too, so we don't run into this moving forward. But uh, that's the status update.
all right. No, I'm excited for the demo.
Cool.
Get there. Cool. Tim?
Yeah, so last week I did a lot of updating and moving around of the EVM uh, user side of Layer. Um, and now I'm working on finishing documenting how you use those things. But yeah, I updated using Tellor Layer, a library, and then sample using Tellor Layer. It's called something different on GitHub. But yeah. So once I wrap up the documentation, I'm moving on to some monitoring.
Nice. By the way, did the bad attestations, so that's in, right?
That is not in.
That is not in, so we still have to do that.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, and then we have to figure out how to monitor for that as well. So,
Yeah,
all right. Even trickier.
it is. Yeah.
We lost Caleb. But cool, that sounds good. And then Spuddy, is everybody upgraded on the chain? It looks good.
I mean, I have not checked the public validators, but let's see how many we got.
And then, I mean, we had the one thing that some validators reach out to is now we crash your node if you aren't set up properly, right?
Yeah, that went over pretty well. They were able to fix it in a few minutes. And yeah, we wanted to make sure that people were doing that right, because if it happens on mainnet, it can cause a lot of problems for the bridge security. And yeah, so if you're running a validator, you got to make sure that those keys are passed in, even if you have a password. So if you are using like a backend that has a password, you're being prompted when you start the layer client. So you have to use an expect script or some other method to pass in that password. Another case that was causing it is when people were running it as root, and like the root, I don't know, their user did not have permission to access the keys that were stored in root because they set it up in root. That was the other way that people were messing it up.
Nice. Cool. Thank you. Akram, those things.
How's it going? I was just messing around with the counting nodes or trying to estimate the number of nodes in a network. So, last week I think I said 140 or 130. It's actually apparently same IPs can be used for multiple networks, right? Which is, obviously possible. But it's like down to 39. We have 26 active validators, so some of them I'm assuming are running just as nodes. But I guess it's not, it's difficult to get an exact number because some of them are private. Yeah. So
39 sounds more in the range of
more realistic.
Yes, that sounds probably about correct.
Yeah, the other one that they're using, which is funny enough, but it's just a one network, uh, and its own main net,
Cool.
and most of them were coming from there. So
Yeah, once we're at like a very stable state, I would love to like build the little hardware boxes for the node, like
mm,
the DApp nodes that people sell,
yeah,
just because that would be sick to sell. But all right. Cool. Well, things are coming along with the test net. We have a few more things we want to test here, and then yeah, hopefully we can start pushing off mainnet, start building some users on it. Um, and this should be fun. Ryan, we got any questions?
Yeah, we did have a question from Justin. Uh, he seems to be rightfully so concerned about the AI technological shift we're going through right now. So he's got a few questions. How is Teller adapted to the AI technological change? Um, has the Teller insulated from the shifts? What vulnerabilities does blockchain have in general for AI? Um, is there a worst case scenario that developers can imagine that is potentially out of their control concerning Teller?
Yeah. No, small question. Uh, I don't know. Anybody else want to take it first? I mean, you guys know I got opinions, but anybody else want to jump in? I mean, I think the worst case scenario is what AGI enslaves us all, right? It's here. Um,
I think we're like internally, we're using the AI tools to kind of accelerate, I think, in general, because that's what you got to do. I don't know about, I don't know what else to. We talked about a lot of stuff doing things, building things internally. I don't know. I want to say it on the call. Not, I don't know.
sure. Yeah, well, I won't make you guys jump on the spot, but yeah, I mean, for me, like AI is one, but like I would say like my general thinking for AI is like a lot of kind of the software that we're building is going to be automated. It's going to be really easy to build, really easy to do. You couple this with some other technologies such as ZK and things, and Spuddy's. You guys still hear me? Yes.
Sorry, everyone. I'm a Linux user.
Yes. No, but I think it's not. It's probably easy to see that like when AI becomes a thing and ZK becomes a thing, like oracles are going to be different. Like, the idea of needing to connect to a middleware or something like that, like it should relatively be ZK'd away. You should be able to push the trust all the way to the endpoints. That's kind of the dream of blockchain, and we're getting better at this. Things take a long time. Like we remember back in the early days of ZK and Zcash, and people would presume that, like we'd have instant proving and super fast, cheap zero knowledge proofs by now. We're still not there. So it could be a ways away. Same with AI, things might take a lot longer. I'd also say that like AI, we're still going to need censorship resistant technologies. We're still going to need ways to get around state control of things. I think you'd be hard pressed to say that AI, which is largely run by giant mega corporations, is going to escape state control or capture at some point. It's probably, like or even just like market control. Like why did like Google started sucking long before the state was just interacting, like it was just like SEO and people jumping in and figuring out how to break Google search that made Google search like not as good. So like it'll probably go along a similar path to where like people figure out how to capture AI. to give it the results that they want, and it won't be as useful, or like AI advertising and stuff. It's already coming. So like, if we go down this path of like, okay, an AI says something, how do we actually know that it's true? How do you have, this is a very similar problem to Google search in general, or a lot of these problems. And this is where censorship resistant technologies like blockchain, like Tellor, Ethereum, and they all can sort of help. And I think that's more of the path that we want to push down. That's kind of the narrative that we want to stay on is, listen, we're building ways to, whether it is state or corporate control of a narrative, or whether it's a narrative that you're protecting and it's information that you're moving around, or it's value like Ethereum tokens or something, we're able to circumvent controls. And that's where we want to push and move to. Anybody disagree with that? I don't know. I think that's the broad overview, right? All right. Yeah, Brenda won't yell at me for that one. I think that's
maybe
this comes out. But anyway, but yeah, I mean, we could talk. We could have talks and talks and talks for hours on AI's implications. So it's not going to end. And yeah, we put out a couple articles already on it. If you look at our blog, I did a couple deep dives. The Gen Layer one is particularly good on AI, and they're going to keep going. So thanks for the question, man. It was good. Anything else, Brian? Or any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Matrix is the only thing that comes to mind. So I'm just trying to be prepared for that scenario, worst case, and then best case, we're able to combat it and harness it to its full extent.
Yeah, but then it's like the weird existential question of like, are we creating the Matrix or are we already in it? And
Right, are we carrying it down?
right, like we don't know.
I think we are creating it in that a lot of the AI tools, especially, it's being built into operating systems and browsers and notes and everything, and our data will be collected more efficiently than it's ever been collected before, and they're training the models with that. So yeah, we're creating it.
No, but like it could already be created. Like
Yeah.
we could be, year could be way, way past where we're at. So anyway, sci-fi topics aside.
I feel like there's been enough sci-fi content out there to guide us and shepherd us away from these techno thriller, like dystopian scenarios. Nobody wants it.
Yeah.
The question is, will AGI allow us to get through it? But I think I'm hopeful.
I don't know if anybody born after the year 2000 has ever seen The Matrix, though.
Oh, they have.
I mean,
Dan, have you seen The Matrix?
I've seen one of them.
I have. I'm born in 1998, but I have.
All right.
don't let anybody tell you that 2 and 3 are bad. It's fantastic the whole way through.
What about 4?
No, it's terrible.
All right. Resident cypherpunk here. It's Buddy. Anyway, thanks guys. This was fun. Talk to you guys next week.